Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first of this three-part coaching series on the foundation of relationship framework. It's a different way to live with dogs. Now, I would say, arguably, that it's a better way to live with dogs, but I'll settle for different for today. My name is Tracy Franken. I am a canine human relationship coach, and my company's name is Beyond Obedience. So let's jump right into the framework. What is the foundation of relationship framework? Well, simply put, it is a way of living harmoniously with dogs. Now, as I mentioned, I'm a canine human relationship coach, so my focus is primarily on the human to understand what the dog needs, rather than the dog understanding what the human wants. And that's primarily what this framework will encompass. And this is a very bold statement, but I am going to say that all of the problems that you have ever had with your dog, the answer lies in one or all of these foundational blocks. So it's a pretty substantial framework for you to understand. So here's the framework. Essentially, it's got three blocks in it: leadership, relevance, and fulfillment. That's it. That's your foundation right there. That's the framework right there. But today we are going to be focusing primarily on leadership. That first block, the biggest block in the foundation of relationship framework. So be a leader. That's our first block here. What does it mean to be a leader to your dog? Well, I can tell you that you can train a dog to follow you, but that isn't actually leadership, is it? So to become a leader for your dog, you have to be somebody worth following. Again, I'm going to keep putting this focus back on us, the humans, right? We are arguably the more intelligent species. So why do we put so much focus on having the dogs understand us when we should put more of the focus into ourselves and figure out, are we actually somebody worth following? And this concept is even more important when we're talking about another species. You brought your dog into your life. You invited your dog into Humansville. And in Humansville, we have very stupid rules that make no sense to our dogs. All of our rules are arbitrary to your dog, right? Why do they have to pee outside but they can't pee inside? Why can they chew a stick outside but not your oak table leg? I mean, none of it makes any sense to our dogs. So we have to take this responsibility very, very, very seriously. We need to guide them. We need to guide our dogs through Humansville. Leadership is about guidance. So how do you become a leader? What does it take for you to become a leader to your dog? Well, first and foremost, trust. Trust is everything to a dog. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about trust. If you've been following me for a while, you'll hear me talk about trust being the most important thing that you can establish with your dog, or any dog for that matter. You need to be calm and predictable. Predictability is another huge thing for your dogs, right? I work a lot with fearful dogs, and one of the things that I will tell owners of fearful dogs is that they need to be able to predict with as close to 100% as possible the outcome of their environment in order for them to calm down and start to feel safe. So predictability is a huge one. You also have to be someone who handles stressful situations without getting stressed out. And that is practically impossible in today's day and age, isn't it, my friends? Everything about our lives are stressful. Our jobs are stressful. Our kids are stressful. Our lives in general are stressful. So we need to be someone that's able to handle stressful situations without getting stressed out. And as a final thought just on leadership here, I want to point out it has nothing to do with dominance. Whenever you hear people arguing this concept of leadership, everyone always seems to think it has to do with dominance, that you're dominating the dog. Leadership has nothing to do with dominance, and I think you guys know that. So, a big misconception in the dog training world is that obedience equals leadership. And that is not true. That is not true, my friends. Obedience does not equal leadership. Meaning you can teach your dogs a ton of different tricks. You can teach them a ton of different obedience commands. But if in your life you are a hot mess and you're stressed out all the time, then you are not going to be able to have that effective leadership that your dog needs, right? But, I'm going to add this in, but obedience can help. It certainly can help your leadership, but it's not the same as leadership, okay? And here's how it can help you. We're going to talk about be a leader. The scorecard. The leadership scorecard. One of my most famous posts on Facebook was this concept of the leadership scorecard. Now, simply put, this is a simple, fun game that you can play, and you should play with your dog. Very simple rules. Every time you do something for your dog, I want you to ask yourself, was that my idea and the dog followed through? Or was that the dog's idea and I followed through? Okay? Simple rules. If it was the dog's idea, the dog scores a point on the leadership scorecard. But if it was your idea and the dog followed through, then you score a point on that scorecard. Now, you don't actually have to physically keep score, although some of my clients have. It's a bit of an eye-opening experience, right, when you think about it. So, this is just a series of events. I always like to share this because I don't think my husband actually listens or sees any of my videos, and I hope he doesn't. So this happened last year when I was sitting down. We were having coffee. My husband and I were having coffee, and I happened to catch this series of events, and I just picked up my phone, and without him noticing, I just started taking pictures of this. So this is my husband and my dog, Nigel. My husband's sitting there. He's on his phone. He's drinking his coffee. Nigel gets up on the couch beside him. Next, you see that Nigel then pokes him in the stomach with his paw, right? A little poke. Then he kind of gives me a shot like, hey, why isn't this guy moving? Here you'll see my husband actually responds to that. Goes, hey, you're poking me in the stomach, right? Then, and this is the shot that I love. This is the money shot right here. My husband gets up. He gets up and he moves for the dog. But look at the expression on my dog's face. Look at those eyes. That dog is literally saying, that's right, mister, keep moving, right? My husband then goes to the other side of the couch with his coffee, sits down, and my dog lays down. This final shot here always makes me laugh because my husband realized I was taking pictures and he went, what happened? Like he didn't know. Right? So in those particular series of events, you can see that my husband lost a ton of leadership score points in that moment because none of that was his idea. My dog decided that he wanted his spot and he got my husband to actually move. Okay? So the leadership scorecard, I want you to know couple of things. First of all, there's no perfect scorecard, okay? There is no perfect scorecard when we're talking about the scorecard. Obviously, your dog is going to have to score some points, and your dog will score some points. But you need to understand that it includes absolutely everything that you do for your dog, like getting up and letting your dog outside, getting up to let your dog inside, giving affection, giving space, playing with your dog. All of these things, if it was your dog's idea and you do it, your dog has scored points on the leadership scorecard. Okay? And really what it comes down to is he who moves the other's feet scores the point. So if your dog gets you to move your feet and do something, if your dog gets you to reach over and pet him, if your dog gets you to do anything and it was their idea, they score a point. Now, this is a game that is innate to all dogs. This starts at a very, very young age when dogs are puppies. If you watch puppies play, you will see them sort of figure out this game. One puppy jumps at another puppy and that puppy moves out of the way. The puppy that jumped scored the point. But incidentally, let's say that first puppy play bows and runs the other way and gets the other puppy to chase them. They too have scored a point because they got the other puppy to move their feet. So this is a game that dogs play all of the time. Now, why is this so important? Why is the leadership scorecard so important to you? Because the leadership scorecard comes into play only when it matters. Only when it matters. When your dog has a decision to make, like coming when called or going to chase a squirrel. When you have a fearful dog and your dog is afraid and you want to make them feel better, that's when that scorecard will come out. Or when you have a confident dog that's making bad choices and you need to influence their behavior, that scorecard will come out in that moment. And I will tell you, my friends, if you are low in points, if your scorecard is low, you will not be able to influence your dog's behavior. Your dog will go chase that squirrel, and your fearful dog is not going to feel better because you asked them to feel better, because your points are low. And this concept, my friend, surpasses obedience training. Okay? No matter how hard you've worked on recall, no matter how much you've trained your dog to sit, no matter how much work you've done obedience-wise, if your leadership scorecard is low, your obedience training will not work. Okay? So this is why I say this is so important to train your dog and to understand these core concepts that you get from me, a relationship coach. So let's recap really, really quickly. Leadership scorecard. Leadership is about guidance. Guide your dog through Humansville, my friends. Guide them through it. Show them the way. Let them know that you have their back. Let them know that you are going to help them through this experience. The leadership scorecard is happening whether or not you are playing along. So you might as well get in the game, my friends. Otherwise, your dog is going to win. And obedience does not equal leadership. It is not the same thing, but it can help. Okay? So that's it. That's it. Now, what I want you guys to do is hop on over into the group and talk to me. Talk to me about your leadership scorecard. How is your scorecard doing? Don't be ashamed. Trust me, we all lose points. There are days when I know I have no leadership scorecard points in a day. So there's no need to be embarrassed, but share with us what you think about this leadership scorecard, this concept. Are you winning the battle? Let us know in the group, and I will see you guys there.